I'm a second generation immigrant. So my parents, they immigrated from Nigeria to the UK during the 90s, and then they had me in the 2000s. I'm the oldest of three children, and one impactful thing that happened to me when I was a child was that my father passed away.
Wow. That is so sad.
I think it's impacted every single aspect of my life because the person that you expect to be with you growing up are your parents, and to not have my male parental figure, my father, was incredibly hard, especially because I was very close to him, especially when I was a child. And it's kind of just like the loss of what could have been, the loss of important events, conversations, and touching moments that I missed out on. I think that is also really hard to come to terms with.
Okay. I never knew I had dyslexia. It's more of my mom. When I was a younger age, I used to live in Tanzania. And when I lived in Tanzania, I used to have like tutors and nurses, nurses, like people that would help me study. And I was ahead for my age. And then I came to the UK. And when I came, the system, because I was ahead of the system for my age in like reception, they like held me to everyone else's level because they thought that because I knew it, I would be like more as they didn't have to do much as me as other students.
Okay.
And then whilst like growing up, I've always liked learning. And growing up, it was like hard for me to spell. And like simple was that everyone else would be able to spell, I would be very lost in it and confuse simple letters as an E and an I, B, D, everything else would like slip around. And when I was in year 2, that's when my mom figured out I had dyslexia. And well, I wasn't at the right age to be diagnosed yet.
Okay.
So we had to...
That's learning for me because I didn't know that there had to be a particular age.
Well, that's what I've heard. My mom said that they couldn't diagnose me. It's also with autism. You have to be a certain age to be diagnosed as well.
To be honest, I mean, I've heard the term dyslexia. I've had a lot of friends who have said they're dyslexic as I was growing up. I didn't really have any meaningful lived experience of dyslexia. Imara's my firstborn child. So, I'd be reading her school books with her when she's in reception in year 1. And I noticed that she would kind of muddle up the words, but Imara is full of energy. So I thought that she, maybe she's not concentrating or she's just being boisterous. And she, at these times, she's very young, 5, 6, 7 years old, right? But it wasn't sticky. So she'd read, and sometimes she would do really well. She'd read the words, and then the next time we'd go back to read that book, and it's like she hasn't read it before. And so I was noticing those things, but again, I wasn't sure what that meant. I didn't really have the infrastructure in my head to really be able to say, okay, this is dyslexia, or this is something else, or this is my child maybe just wanting to play, right? And I'm there making her read, right? And actually, to be fair, it was one teacher in year 1 that turned around and said to me, you know what, it was at parents' evening. I think your daughter she's got the profile of somebody who's dyslexic. But however, in the UK, we don't do dyslexia screening until year 3. But I think it's really important that you're aware of that so that when you're reading with her or when you're kind of participating in any activities, you've got that in your mind. And so therefore, when you go into year 3, you kind of, you have that at the forefront of your mind.
You said you were heading down. Where were you heading to?
I felt like the same path that my siblings were. So again, into that sort of road mentality of, selling drugs and all of these things that for me, I knew were wrong. But, in other people's lives, it's like, it's a way of life.
It's normal.
It's normal.
Yeah. Right. And they're trying to survive. And for me, it's like, I knew that wasn't for me with how I thought and how I saw things and how my heart was. So it was like when I met Sir, the moment he spoke, I just felt drawn to that speech. I felt drawn to that role model that he was sort of emitting. And for me, it was just like, it was a no-brainer to sort of stick with him. But others, what I noticed, saw him, and also felt like this guy's preaching. Why is he always preaching? He's always trying to tell me how to live my life. And I was like, are you guys not hearing? Like, you're not hearing what he's actually saying. And for me, like it couldn't be clearer that what he was saying.
So you stuck to him. You just held on to, because I found that in mentorships, that some, for a mentee and a mentor, you've got to run after.
1,000%.
Yeah, because sometimes I don't want to be a mentor that's going to be running after you.
Yeah.
Because I need, but you decided to run after him.
Yeah. Had to. And I think it was definitely, it was a mixture, but it was more me, because I think you kind of have to make that decision. Like him as a mentor, he can't make that decision for me. You know, like I had to actively make that decision to receive the mentoring, to receive the support, because a lot of people think like there's a lot of initiatives that run for young people and they wonder why it doesn't work. It's because these young people actually don't want the support.
All of these things, and then the trickle effect is on children, because children will observe what's happening in the household, right? They'll observe parents stress over money, stress over...
And they're going to say they want to help mom.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was getting to. Helping mom and dad. And that's an easy in terms of these grooming gangs.
Yes.
Sometimes even as simple as just wanting food in the belly. Yes. Sometimes there's even a thing of feeling a sense of power in a system that makes you feel powerless. And also going back to that lack of community, a lot of gangs, a lot of these groups, you feel a sense of family.
Yes.
You feel a sense of family. You feel a sense of you are heard, you are understood. They get where I'm coming from. We have common interests, common motivations.
Especially where you come from a home whereby mom is always shouting all the time.
Yeah, or someone's not listening to you. Or like, or even when children try to open up about different struggles and parents may be like, what are you struggling? I've got this on my mind, that on my mind. It's an easy in for these gangs. So I think that the emphasis on rebuilding community is very key in a healthy way, and community not in a superficial sense, because I heard you say in terms of hiding secret, but there's a reason why people are hiding secret, because times when they have opened up to community, it's then being gossiped or weaponized, and it's spread around, whether it's the church or whether it's the community, it's being spread around. So then
immigration, there's so many things.
Also to protect their children, because again, it can be weaponized against the children as well.
Yeah, my university experience was not that great. I think those years, I look back on it and I was like, it's like the worst years of my life. And I've been through some stuff. So I remember also, like I told you before, like all of my mental health issues before, they were lingering, but they became worse to the point where I would be like physical, like in terms of self-harm, which was very new for me. I never, ever did that before. Like I would rip out my hair because I was so stressed. I remember cutting my fingers and my hands because I just wanted to kind of like a physical, not even just something physical to take away the pain. Like it was terrible. It was really bad.
Did you not have anybody to talk to at that time from school, from anybody? Did you call your mom? What? Who did you speak to?
I did not talk to my mom about those kind of things. Not because I didn't want to tell her. It's just because she, like my view of it was like she's going through a lot already. And she's already so anxious about me moving so far away. I don't want to make that worse for her. So I kind of lied. Like I'd be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm all right. In terms of friends, I kind of did, but because I didn't have any friends that really like looked like me, it was kind of difficult for them to fully understand my experience. And I did reach out to my school, but I don't think I got the support that I needed, truthfully.
They have access to knives. It's become a trend. It's become something they just do. They don't think. It's completely it was completely unprovoked. My son was stabbed and he lay, almost lifeless on that floor. And because of social media, the word went around very quickly. I was called by his friends. And I think the saddest thing is the moment I was told he's been stabbed. And I didn't know whether he was alive, he's dead. I froze. My mind went blank.
Councillor Fumi, you have been a support, really. What more do you think we can do? The police, do they have the answers? Who has the answers? Do we have the answers? What can we do? How do I've had so many people on our podcast to talk about how do we support young people better? How do we get them out of this?
It's always heartbreaking for me whenever I listen to Lady Melissa's story. Personally, I've attended over 30 memorial services for young boys, most of them boys, that got killed through knife. And most of the time, parents, we have this high expectation from the law enforcement agency, thinking that they are the only institution that can help solve this problem. But one thing I've realized over a period of 20 years that I've been working with the young people and family is that we as Black family don't have a community. And then I think if we start solving the problem from setting up a community that is our own, then we will be able to identify some of the problems and then finding solutions to them. I think the first thing is to have community, because we can't rely on police alone, because the problem is multifaceted.
It's a lot.
And it needs multi-systemic approach. And it's not going to be just the parent. They need a support network, and the community needs to come together. And I'll always say that the moment the community is ready, the knife crime will stop.
Stories told, connections formed, we find our place, echoes of our community.